Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. Okay, well, before we go any farther, I think we should come in and put a couple of flats in this so I can get a wrench on it. And we're looking at a piece of 3/4 here, I believe. $7.50. So we'll come and touch, and then we'll dive down an 1/8 on each side. Sound good? All right, well, I'm noticing that right here my threads are pretty well boogered up, and I'm not even going to probably be able to get that on there. So I'm coming in with a thread file and 10 threads per inch, and we're just going to kind of run it over that and clean those threads up just a little bit. Yep, see, it's straightening them right up. Now, I would have run a die over this, but turns out I don't have one. That's better. Yeah, a little bit right there. Yes, much better. All right, we got that all set. Okay, so we're going to come in and just prep this out a little bit, get this galvanized off of here. So because there's a divot, and here's a raise, and there's of course a divot on the other side, I'm going to put a flat bar behind that to keep the clamp from kind of rolling into it, into the hole. There we go. Slide it up just a little bit. And we were going to come this way just a little bit. Let me get centered. That looks pretty good. Maybe you have to do a little adjusting, but let's check for squareness first. Not too bad. Just over a little bit. So we'll throw a weld in over on this side first, and then we'll be able to tweak it over just a tad. Alright, because this is a pretty heavy duty piece of steel and everything's fairly cold, we're going to do a little preheat here just to give us a boost on the welding itself. Okay, and the pressure on this weld is not that great, so we're going to just MIG weld it, and let's see how we do. I guess we need a ground. little tack. We could probably pop off our clamp at this point. Yep. We need to bring it back just a tad to get it to square up. Looks pretty good, and everything else looks perfect. Alright, before we do a final weld on this, I'm going to put the pin in, put everything back together again, and make sure that we're in the right place. Alright, pin. Axle. That looks pretty good to me. I'd say we're in pretty good shape. Okay, I got one more weld to do, and that is if we go down below here, we'll see the feet. My feet were just slightly off, so I built a couple more spacers for those. Let me go get them. Alright, well, so we decided to build a little tray on the bottom of this thing just to land our other rollers in. So I just cut a short or an easy rectangle here. And we'll just throw a fast bead on it. Just a little bit of tacking. Okay, let's check it for squareness. It doesn't really matter, but we want to be fairly close, and we are. This side, yep, pretty good. Okay, we're going to just run a couple of beads right down here, and that'll be good enough. Okay, we're going to bring one side up to about where we want it and tack that baby in place. Alright, we got a pretty good sized tack going, but it doesn't look level. Here's our level. Off. And I'm not sure we can get it up any higher, so we're going to have to probably break this off and do it again. even will. Pretty good. Dang good. Well, right on the money. I'm going for it. A little far away over here, but doesn't really matter. Guess I better get my helmet on. All right, so we've got our pin in place, we've tightened it up, we've got that in, we've got our bracket on the bottom, and I think we're ready to give this little baby a try. Now, one thing is we can't do, and it really is the next step, is I have cut myself a 1/4 inch keyway in the shaft, and I've cut a 3/16 keyway, or no, an 1/8 keyway? 3/16 keyway in the forming die itself. So I have to go back in and recut that keyway, and then at the same time when I'm cutting the keyway, I need to, or after I've cut the keyway, I need to run a keyway in there and braze it in, silver solder it in, something to get that to be solid so that it will stay in here and slide back and forth on the shaft. But for right now, we can just kind of fake it, my middle name, and let's just see how it's going to look. There it is in place. Let's put the power up to it. Come on. There it is. And that looks pretty good. I think we've got a winner here. And everything's kind of loose and easy to move. Yeah, and there's lots of room to maneuver up and down on this thing. Let's go the other way and see what we got. Yeah, it's got almost a perfect pivot to it. I guess maybe that's what it was, how it was designed. Well, I guess Harbor Freight did design. This is what they do. They've got the design perfect. I mean, everything's laid out so that it works just right. And then of course they cheap out on a couple of key factors, but that works great. Okay, so we're there. All we need to do now is cut our keyway for the die. Put that over here. Pull this back out. Oh hell, why don't we just go cut it? Yeah, let's do that. We'll be back. All right, well, we got to cut a keyway, keyway through this piece of cast iron, and it's a 1/4 inch keyway, which is right there. Now I've got a bunch of 1/4 inch sliders, but I don't have any that are small enough. There's a slider there, fine, but try to put it in that hole, not gonna fit. So we've got to come up with a slider that's going to go for that, because I've got, I don't know, 3 or 4 of these to do, and in reality, this thing is too wide for it. Well, no, it's okay. We've still got a 1/4 inch of material back there. We're going to have to cut a deep keyway in that slider. Let's just see if we've got maybe something that'll be similar. but it's just as wide here. And that's not wide enough. Yep, this is our baby right here. And that's fitting in there just fine. So, we've taken our old shaft, which is all wiped out, and we're going to slide that into our piece of casting, or our roller, and go ahead and cut it off, and we'll have most of a slider. And then we just have to mill it down from there. So we're going to take it over to the table or over to the saw and cut it. And because everything's kind of cattywampus on this whole thing, there's no way to hang on to it, I'm just going to go ahead and cut it by hand. Some ways, sometimes it's just as easy. I mean, you definitely have to babysit it, but not that big a deal. All right, we got ourselves a plug. We'll put it up on the lathe and square up these ends, and be right back. We'll just throw it in on the little south bin. It's sometimes easier. All right, well, first thing we have to do is we have to make sure that this surface is square. So let's just drop a plate in there. And let's take this bit out because we're not using that right now. Almost there. There it is. Okay. So, we'll zero out. We're going to come back. This is 200, so we're going to come back 100. Right, that brings us to the center of the P, or the wiggler, or the center tool. Let's find out what our shaft size is here. And we're looking at 790. So that would be 395. 395? Yep, 395. So half of 395. Let's zero out again. Half of 395 would be, no, it is 395. 2, 3, 90, 4, 5. And that should have us totally center. It looks pretty center to me. Now, we'll go ahead and zero that out. come up with a mill bit that's gonna work in here. That one looks pretty good. All right. Let's see how close we are. I'd say we're pretty much on the money. Okay, so we're centered. Now we need to go to our width is 375, 380. 380. So half of 380, well, no, we got to figure this out. Hey, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, if my calculations are correct, we need to move over 35 thousandths on either side. So for the moment, I'm going to take 30. 10, 20, 30. Let's back up a bit. I went too fast. 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay. Let's see what that's going to produce. All right, so I think we did it. We're going to give it a little test run here. Drop our broach in, and it looks like we've got a great little slider. So, and it fits good. So we need to take it out and trim up the sharp edges there, and go ahead and we could probably go ahead and cut the keyway. So we'll be back. All right, just a little bit of hand file work here. We're just going to kind of knock those edges off, just so I don't get cut later on when I grab this thing. That looks pretty good. And just a little bit on the corners. And I think we're set. All right, so we're going to slowly broach our way through this whole piece because we're sitting here with a hand-operated hydraulic jack, and it does do the trick, but boy does it go slow. Okay, let's try this out and see if it's going to work. We punched our hole, and I think it's deep enough. Put our key in. We'll run it in just a little bit further, and slide the shaft in. Oh man, look at that. That sucker fits just right. Whoops. There we go. There it is. Now what we have to do is come in and silver solder or braze this to the wheel itself, or to the hub itself, so that that can slide in and out without the key falling out every time, because that would be, you know, not too much fun. Okay, so we're going to take it apart. We're going to go over to the welding table, and we're going to heat this baby up and take that in and put probably just a little dab of brass in there or something like that. And we'll be right back. All right, so we've got our piece set. We've got a clamp holding the key in. And we have two little chips of silver solder right here. Let me go get a pair of tweezers. So we want to put some flux down inside this hole here, definitely. And let's flip it over and do the other side too. Okay. Get this baby out of the way. I'm thinking it might be better just to let gravity do its thing, because this thing is pretty slippy, meaning that, you know, it's not a press fit. So I'm going to answer the phone and I'll be right back. All right, so we've got our couple of pieces of solder here. Trying to find the other ones. Where are they at? 1, 2, 3. There should be a fourth. knock it on the floor? Probably. All right, well, there's 4. Okay. So we're going to take our chip of solder, silver solder I'm using. I decided that I have these real thin chips, and they'll slide in there, and they won't take up much space. And when the whole thing melts, it'll just relax down onto the solder itself, and we're down almost to where we want to be. Now what I'm going to do is heat it up and then come in with a rod or something like that once it gets good and warm, and then just put a little pressure on it. And I think we'll be good, in good shape. There we go. Okay, I can see just a little corner of the silver solder down there, and I'm waiting for it to melt, and then I'll know we're all set. We will come back once this thing's cooled off and give it a try. Okay, Nick Collier here. Hey, let's give this thing a try and see if it's gonna fit, and hey, let's go. So far, so good. It's there. There it goes. Okay, we found some sort of neutral. Let's put the motor on. And how about get a piece of tubing and see if it'll bend it. Okay, having tried this thing out before, the motor itself, and realizing that it is incredibly loud, we're almost there. There it is. Okay. I've got headphones on. Ha! So you're going to have to just listen to the loudness. Oh, maybe I'll turn the volume down for you. Okay, a little bit tight. Whoops, the other way. All right, not bad, but one thing is this gearbox, it heats up like a champ. I mean, I can barely touch it. So this might be just one of those things where, you know, you just use it for a little while and then let it cool off, and then use it a little bit more and then let it cool off, because man, it is hot. The motor doesn't seem to be hot, just the gearbox. Okay, so hey, this is Nick Collier. One more successful project. This one has lasted, I don't know, a couple of months at least for me, and a long time for you. We've got the tubing to bend, and now I want to make a gate for the front of my property. Hey, this is Nick Collier. You know, subscribe. We have some fun here. Well, I'm constantly doing weird stuff, like this table right next to us, which I'll be putting up here pretty quick. And tell your friends. Nick Collier here, and I'm signing out.